Oh, there you are. Hi there. Good morning. This is DearMamaSal, and we are all about helping you cope with love, life, and other problems. Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and today I wanted to give you a warning. I don't know if any of you have got PayPal, but if you have, listen to what I experienced yesterday and today. Just before I closed everything down last night, I noticed that there was an invoice in my PayPal activity account, and I thought that's strange. And quite honestly, when you looked at it, it looked like it came from PayPal, and also it was for a small amount, like $5.99 or whatever. And when I looked at it, it said it was for that my account had been limited in some way. And I thought, I've used PayPal. I coach people for interviews around the world. I've used PayPal for years, and I have not ever had this happen. So it was a bit of a red flag right there. Then I noticed that it said one time. And I just needed to pay it one time, and then it would be fixed. And I thought, that doesn't sound right either, but never mind. And I decided, let me not do anything about that. And I sort of shut it down, and I started researching and doing other things. And guess what? Within an hour or so, I found that there was a second invoice for $6.99 this time. And by then, the hairs in the back of my neck went up, and I thought, and guess what? It said a one-time payment. Yeah, right. So then what I did, I started to research it a bit. And one of the things that's really easy to do is that if PayPal has for any reason limited your account, which can happen for certain reasons, there is a resolution page. And just in case any of you got PayPal, there is a tab for resolution. And if they've limited you for any reason, there will be a note on the resolution page. So I found that out by doing the research. And so I went to my resolution page, nothing on it. So it took me a while, but this morning when I got up, I thought the first thing I want to do is I want to get this sorted out in case it's important to PayPal as well. So I managed to get hold of them and got hold of a human, which I prefer, and explained the problem. And eventually, long story short, yes, this was fraudulent, and definitely do not pay it. But all you have to do, just so that you know, if you get one of these things and you realize there's nothing in the resolution, but they're asking you to pay, all you do is hit the cancel button and cancel the invoice. And it'll bring up a screen, do you want to cancel this invoice? And you just go, yeah, absolutely. So I thought I'd give you that little heads up. The other thing, in terms of one step at a time, you also realize, I am sure. Oh, by the way, yes, I did change my password. I can hear some of you screaming at me, did you change your password? It's not really going to affect it because they're still able to put things, as a PayPal invoice. They don't need to get into my account to send me an invoice. So I'm on some bad people's list somewhere. Okay, so let me look at the next thing. The other thing I wanted to tell you about, for those of you who don't know, I'm in the process of moving, and I have rented the place I'm buying for a month prior to to actually closing the deal. And the interesting thing is that in order to move, I've got to change my address in 1,001 different places. And so what I'm trying to do, if this makes sense to any of you, in my, you know that my philosophy in life is just one step at a time. So every day when I wake up, I ask myself, what one company do I want to advise that I'm moving? And I really recommend that because, bit by bit, you get them all knocked off your list. And I actually did my bank today. I actually advised them that I have a new address, so that was good. The other thing I noticed today, it was in this community where I now am. I'm in a community of manufactured homes now. for this part of my retirement. And I noticed there appear to be a lot of single women, either walking alone or with fur babies. And that is interesting to me because are they single women or are they just walking as a single person? So what part of my research will be to find out how many single women there really are here. And if so, I kept thinking there are so many things that probably we could pitch in and help each other with. But I will find that out over the course of the year. I'm all about community, as you know. And so the next thing I noticed today was whatever you do, if ever you decide in your wisdom that you want to renovate and put down white tiles anywhere, don't. And I'm just telling you that. I've got white tiles in both the bathrooms here, and one of my hairs, which is white, can drop on there and I can see it. A speck of dust can drop on there and you can see it. And I just going, remind me never to have white tiles anywhere again. So my next challenge is to find some sort of carpeting or something to put over those white tiles, so I am not constantly, looking at bits, And I've seen some really interesting ones on Wish, and I thought, I could do wall-to-wall sort of furry type carpets if I wanted to at a very small cost through Wish. So I'll let you know what I do on that one. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, in case any of you are like me, a little bit overweight. No, I'm obese. But, what I found is when you put on more weight, it gets more difficult to get to your feet. I wonder if any of you have noticed that. Or is it just me? So what I've discovered is, because I'm always looking for fun ways to do things, what I've discovered is that cleaning between your toes, if you're having problems doing that, is the easiest way to do is actually just sit on your toilet with the seat down, sit on your toilet, and then you obviously put the one leg over the knee of the other, you know what I mean, and use a sock. I've got one sock that I use now, and I just slip that sock between my toes and I sort of go like this with it, and then I go to the next toe and I go like that with it, and that way I make sure that I have properly dried between my toes, and it works really, really well. And then of course I throw that sock in the wash, but it's I thought I would share it with you. And the other thing I wanted to share with you, and probably you all do it anyway, but sometimes people don't, and they appreciate it when I mention it. So if you've never done this, try it. What I find I do as well is after I've done that with the sock, what I do is I start rubbing all around my feet, and I'm amazed how much dry skin comes off, and particularly on the top of my toes now at this age, on the top of my toes, my heels, everywhere, and I just literally rub my hands because my feet are still sort of soft from being in the shower. And it is amazing how much dry skin comes off. And today I was amazed how much came off the top of my toes, for example. So just work that skin, because every bit that you exfoliate easily, you could actually do it with a sock if you wanted to, but just do that because it'll help keep your feet healthy. And I also think probably will help the circulation in your feet because you're basically massaging them as well. So if that helps any of you, let me know. And if any of you try it, let me know how it works for you. Well, I just wanted to show you, I worked out how to put the futon down yesterday. But I was having really big problems with the swelling in my feet. And Beth suggested, obviously, that I get my legs elevated. And she came up with a really good idea, which was to actually lie with your feet against the wall, put your feet up against a wall for a while. It forces the liquid to drain away from your feet, which I thought was a really good idea. And then Nana suggested that I elevate my feet, of course. And I said, well, I've only got a couple of pillows with me. And she said, no. And she reminded me that I've got a very large stack of pillows that belong to the furniture, the outside furniture. And so you're right, Nana, it worked like a charm. I slept last night with my feet up on those two big ones, and there's definitely an improvement. I can definitely feel it. So this is the wonder of teamwork and the way we help one another. I would never have thought to use those cushions. So big thank you from me. I can definitely feel an improvement. So Beth and Nana, bless you. Now my next experiment is about my CPAP mask. This is what I call my Darth Vader mask. This is the mask that pushes air into my nose at night to make sure I stay breathing because I have what they call sleep apnea. But the problem is that I am here, and for some reason I disconnected the little gizmo I use to clean it, and I can't find it, of course. So I thought, what plan can I come up with? So you know what I thought? Why don't I stick it in the washing machine with some bleach and let the machine do the washing? Why didn't I think of that years ago? I'm going to give it a go. Now, one of the things that the previous owner's sons did when they came to visit me was to shovel the snow for me. Wasn't that kind? But what we noticed, don't know if you can see that, but with the minus 12 degrees frost, the side right there, see it? The side of that planter box, and it's a huge one, popped. So that tells you a lot about how cold it was, that the earth expanded at the bottom there and then popped out that. But the boys said they will fix that for me. Isn't that kind of them? They have no reason to do that. So we will see what we will see. And by the way, that's my sort of tiered garden at the back, for those of you who haven't seen it before. Let me just go down. Oh, no, I don't. I will. It's raining, people. Anyway, that's my shed at the back, and it's full 20 feet long and at least 10 foot wide. I'll measure that to make sure that I'm not lying there. But I've got this tiered garden at the back so that it makes gardening so much easier. And they were saying that their mom planted vegetables all along that bottom tier, you know, lettuces and tomatoes and stuff like that. So that's good. And this was her herb garden, and you can see that there's still some herbs there. So that is great. I look forward to that. Now this one's going to sound really strange to some of you. Those of you who are regular viewers know that I am moving a little bit at a time, and obviously I've been here a few days, so I know what I've got with me are the essentials of my life, in terms of my kitchen, for example, for my bathroom. And what I realize is that I am putting those essential things at a really high level in my kitchen. Why? I know I'm going to use them every day. That's why they're already here. Think about that. And I am actually quite excited because as I bring the next tier of things in, they will go a little bit lower or a little bit higher, depending which cupboard they're in. And I never thought about it before, but it's a really interesting experiment. The other thing is I am really thinking about what things was I leaning down to get out of cupboards in the old house that I don't want to be leaning down to get anymore. One of them was cans of stuff, or, you know, replacement bottles of stuff. And so now I've got them in a drawer here. And let me show you. Hold on a second. So this is what I've started, just getting a collection of things that I want. And that was the joke. I know I showed you the 4 bottles of Marmite before. So, but I want to tell you that I was always leaning down to get these sort of things. And I go, wow, it's really nice to have those at that level. What have I got here? A sort of, oh yes, my mason jars. Always had to lean down to get them, and I use them every day. So now they're at hip height. What have I got here? Oh, this will be my regular everyday plastic stuff. And for those of you wondering why she got leaves in there, it's all to do with Origina. The orange plant I thought was fake and left out in -12 degrees. That's 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And you see, what I'm doing is every time she drops a leaf, because she's not looking too healthy, but I am determined that she will live. So every time that she drops a leaf, I'm keeping it because it's part of her. And I will actually end up putting them in the soil and let her self-feed. She's going to live, people. Please tell me she's going to live. She got oranges and everything. How could I have done that? I thought she was fake. Never mind. Okay, so in this, what did I put in this drawer that I get to every day? Oh yes, this will be my cutlery drawer. Right here. I've got obviously more coming, but this, I just bought sort of a few of the major things that I know I was going to need, and it works really well there from working with it every day. What have I got here? I know I originally had this as the famous junk drawer, but I had to change it because I realized I needed a drawer for my spices. And there we go, some more Marmite. You think I have it every day, which I don't. And this is for my oils and bigger bottles of stuff in here. That is right of the microwave. Here I'm going to keep my flour and stuff, and I'm going to get solid containers for them because of Mickey and friends. What have I got here? Not much in here. My everyday sort of plates. And at the moment in here, I've got a really big roll of recycled paper that happened to be in the house anyway. I've got a few ramekins because I bake bread in them, and I've also got part of my dinner service here already. So you'd have to be Spider-Man to get up there, so obviously things I don't use very often are going to go up there. But I thought I'd show you. All right, have I got anything in the second rung? Yes, I've got my crepe maker in there. What have I got in this level? Oh yes, sort of mixer type stuff in here. And what have I got? Not much here yet, no. Working on that. Anything at the bottom yet? No, nothing at the bottom. And by the way, I am also, as you can probably see there, lining the drawers, one more drawer every night before I go to bed. One thing at a time, one step at a time. So there we go. So my question to you is this. If you were doing what I'm doing, which is starting all over again in your kitchen, what would you change? You know, what things would you bring closer to you? What things would you put farther away? And the reason I say that is there's no reason at all why you can't do it this year. And I was amazed how many things I have in totally the wrong places, but habit made me not change them. You know what I mean? I'm just so used to that's where it is. And quite honestly, I found out it doesn't take you very long. It takes you about a couple of days to go, no, it doesn't live there. This is where it lives now. And so I encourage you to challenge your ability to change things in your life and make it better for you. This is DearMamaSal saying, remember to look after one another. Remember, little changes are good for us. So see what you can do this year. Bye-bye for now.